Hello, Steve White, Trek Boy 89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, a few rumours coming out of Sidetrack, which I don't know how connected this guy is, but I do at least find this rumour a bit comforting. Apparently, the half-hour reality comedy sitcom set on a pleasure planet like Riser, probably in the 31st century pocket universe that Kurtzman's created, that Kurtzman announced recently as being in production, is not in production. It hasn't been greenlit or anything. Now, apparently he did that thing, which they've tried to do about 4 times in Star Trek 4, where, announce it and they will come. Basically, say it's in production, which literally in production just means you paid some staffer to do some research or paid some writer to write a script, and then you can say, oh, it's in production. And then they try and get investors to actually pay for the actual production. So they've tried that trick with Star Trek 4 and it hasn't happened because no one wants to invest in it. It looks like they did the same thing again, where they thought, because basically Paramount doesn't have to fund everything they do, but if they can find someone else to fund a show, they can do that Star Trek show. Paramount won't necessarily stop them, although I do hear they can veto. But so apparently he announced it and it wasn't in development. They don't approve it. They don't want it. They're not interested in it. They don't want to pay for it, and no one else wants to pay for it. So it's probably not going to happen. So that makes me really happy, because it's the worst thing I've heard. It's worse than Section 31. Section 31, treads all over canon and sort of ruins the sort of ideas of Star Trek and what's in there. But to the outside people who don't care so much about that, who just watch Star Trek casually, I don't think they're going to be that bothered by Section 31. But this half-hour sitcom reality show, Pleasure Planet series of Star Trek, it's just so far removed. Even non-fans, I think, would ruin their image of Star Trek and be actually very detrimental to Star Trek to actually do it. So I hope it doesn't happen. That makes me happy. Now, the other rumour, which is kind of funny, apparently, like, Lower Decks doesn't bother me that much, partly because it's in its separate sort of cartoon universe, which made sense until they did a crossover with the real live action series. I thought they were just going to show that these characters were real in the Star Trek universe. This was an animated series about them, but they actually tried to establish an animated universe, so they've crossed over from the animated universe to the real universe. And then we see the real characters from Enterprise also in that universe as cartoon characters, and it just didn't work. People loved it, but it didn't make any sense. It didn't work. But they're talking about doing animated movies, because they've already got the series set up, the actors are there, they're all contracted. They can just transition into making movies and just make a few of them and continue the show like that, and it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think Skydance sort of looked at Lower Decks and wasn't that bothered by it, and then the idea of continuing on with movies was an okay idea. But then Kurtzman comes along and says, no, we want to do live action movies. The whole point of continuing on the series as animated movies from an animated series is because you're already set up. The infrastructure, everything's there, the contracts, you just have to continue on and transition through. It's not that difficult. But to turn it all into live action, that's going to cost the same amount as a regular Star Trek film. So it's like, if they're going to spend that much money, it's going to cost like 10 times more. If you're going to spend that kind of money, why wouldn't they make Star Trek 4? They can't fund Star Trek 4 because they're not going to make money out of it, because it costs too much and they can't make enough money out of Star Trek to make those big budget films. So to turn this cartoon into a live action show, it's going to cost just as much as a regular live action show. You're basically starting from scratch for all the production work and all the set designs and building everything. It's going to cost as much. So they're like, no, they have no interest in doing that. And it's just a stupid idea. Now, supposedly they don't want to do Legacy for some reason. I think they're holding on to it. They want to get rid of Kurtzman and then do Legacy themselves. But one of the rumors is that Skydance and Paramount have vetoed Legacy and they don't want Kurtzman to make it. Now, whether that's because it would cost too much and they only want one live action show in production at one time and they're happy to do it after Strange New Worlds has ended, I don't know. Or are they saving it for Kurtzman's contract running out and then they're going to produce it themselves in-house? It's sort of hard to tell what they're doing. But so they don't seem very interested in the idea of changing Lower Decks into a full live action film. Even if they just do it on the network, just have it on the streaming platform, the streaming service, like, it's not going to cost as much as putting it into the cinemas, but it's close enough that it's prohibitive and I don't see it happening. And it's just like, it's like they had a bit of good faith where they're like, yeah, we could kind of maybe put some money into continuing the show as a series of TV movies. That might be okay. And just blows it out of the water. No, let's do it live action and cost 10 times more. I think he just, whatever, goodwill there was there to do that, he's killed. And so far as the other show, like I said, announce it and they will come. Well, the investors didn't come and Paramount's not paying for it, so that doesn't appear to be happening. I don't know who's paying for Starfleet Academy. I guess that was funded by Paramount before the buyout and everything, and I don't know. But either way, those two rumours kind of made me happy because they both have, new Trek shows failing. So yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of these wonderful ideas by Kurtzman.